Welcome to the Soko Healing Podcast. Today I wanted to discuss the energies on earth right now, but also specific topics for feminine healing, sexuality, beauty practices or rituals, wellness practices, connection to God, and using Christianity for feminine healing. These are topics that I've personally explored, and nobody really discusses the relationship between beauty and faith, and physical fitness and faith, or even business and faith, because the Bible, not necessarily Jesus, but the Bible kind of casts a lot of judgment on the accountants, the people who value beauty, the people who value the world. So it's easy to become super humble and to feel as if you're not receiving anything out of life on a Christian path. And that's why I kind of left the path. I was like, why am I going to keep victimizing myself, giving all of my resources, giving all of my power just to say that I'm Christian, just to say that I'm devoted, just to say that I'm humble? Philosophically, it didn't make sense. Fast forward 8 years, I realized what was missing. What's missing is the fact that you're not allowing God to provide abundance for you. You're not letting him give you the life that you want because you're stuck in victimization, not because Jesus, Christianity, or even the world wants you to be in that vibration. So that means that your own mental limitations, which need to be fixed, i.e. therapy, healing, journaling, wellness, meditation, energy healing, all of these practices are beautiful, but that belief is going to force you to fail dramatically in real life. So why does prayer help you to become more beautiful or more physically fit? So I actually struggled with my body, with my hormonal system, with my skin, with my addictions for a very long time. Until I was like 21 or 22 and I started to become educated on consciousness and how our beliefs shape our reality. And I said, why am I living in a self-hating dimension, in a self-hating vibration, when I could have anything I want? And you can work out as much as, I don't know, Olympic trainer, Olympians, whatever, but not receive results. You can eat healthy, you can go to church, you can do all of these things and not receive results just for the fact that you're stuck in a certain mental vibration. So I understand that a lot of people, including myself, want to do everything themselves. Oh, I'm a weightlifter, I'm a runner, I'm this, like people in the army, people very strong, powerful people are so associated with their status. Oh, I created this, I did this, this is my brand. No, you didn't. You're a talking mind connected to universal forces, universal powers. I don't really take credit for my work, even though people sometimes really enjoy it, because I know that without God, without the universe, I would be nothing. So that's exactly what prayer does for you. Prayer connects you to those universal forces and breaks through your limitations as a human being so you can become divine. And I'm half in the New Age community, half in the Christian community. I would call myself a Christian healer at this point in time, because even yesterday I went to this Christian store with all crosses and sprays and soaps, the same things you would find in a New Age store, which I love those stores also. But it just shifted my mindset, why can't we have more Christian healers on planet Earth? Why does it have to be either the priest who has a negative, association around them, or Reiki healers in the New Age community who tend to be more witchy? I think there could be a beautiful balance that could be reached through Christian healing. And by bringing Christian healing to the matrix, we can show women that those things that they want, beauty, power, a husband, can be fulfilled through prayer and faith. And it doesn't have to be Jesus Christ. Because I've been approached by so many of these people in New York City with oh, here, take a Bible, come to this Bible study class. In the ferry, this girl was oh, come to this Bible study. And I'm the second you say no, they roll their eyes and judge you. Or the second you walk into a church and you have a certain vibe about you, you're confident, you're radiant, you're beautiful. Oh, this woman wants to steal my husband. So this is why people don't go to church. That's exactly why people don't go to church, especially beautiful young women who need the help most out of everybody, and young men who need the most help out of everybody. Because they're gonna walk into a church. Oh, you have to sit like this, you have to do this, you have to walk like this. I went to Catholic school, trust me. I know what it's like. And that's why even some Catholic or Christian prayers, I'm like, this does nothing for me, because it's like military boot camp. Like, does not serve me. So we definitely, and I've been guided by the Holy Spirit the last few months in my life to create new structures where people can connect to Jesus Christ directly from their house, from their car, through their phone. And the results for me have been absolutely magnetic, absolutely beautiful. I've not only become more beautiful by my own standards, but also everything is taken care of. Everything is provided. I don't have those attachments of like, oh, where is my husband? When is my husband coming? Like, if my husband never comes, I'm going to be the happiest person I've ever met. And that kind of satisfaction and contentment in life is only attainable through prayer. So I am a yoga instructor. I'm an energy healer. I'm all of this stuff, CBT life coach, cacao ceremony. And none of these practices are leaving my arsenal or my methods. I love all of these practices, and I prayed upon them. I said, Jesus, is this acceptable for healing myself and the planet? And he confirmed. Crystals are okay. Certain crystals are okay. Rose quartz, amethyst, certain blue crystals, certain quartz crystals are totally acceptable. So if you have that sort of stuff and you feel that it connects you to sun, to source consciousness, to the elements, to water, to your soul vibrations, to your soul's mission, there's nothing wrong with it. But if you do feel that little like, I don't know about this, then don't use it. It's a simple muscle test, subconscious test. If you feel that second guessing, maybe I shouldn't use this, then put it aside. It's not for you. And same thing with like cleansing what you already have and like trying to up level your vibration, just release it. Something else will come in more beautiful. Like me with these beautiful crosses, like I wish I could show you, but it would be too distracting if I got up right now. Like these beautiful crosses, these beautiful oils, like everything's gold, everything's silver, everything's white. So it's, if you feel that you're going to be lacking that beauty and that texture and the tangibility of it, don't feel that way, because there are so many beautiful higher vibration alternatives that will come into your field. So that's kind of like where I come from. But I've also been in some modern churches where I feel a tremendous amount of judgment. People are looking at me like I'm trying to steal their boyfriend. People are like talking about me. I felt unwelcome. Yoga and wellness is not welcome in these churches. They immediately say it's demonic. However, I look around with my psychic vision and all I see is a bunch of demonic people. So that's another level of awareness I want to raise in the world and in other people. If you feel, and it could be a church, it could be a Bible study, it could be like a yoga training, it could be like some culty environment, and they're saying you have to be good, we have the answers, we're gonna promise you a beautiful future, everything will be taken from you. Immediately walk away. Immediately walk out the room, because the only thing that will do that for you is Jesus Christ and God. And like I said, if it's not Jesus Christ, if it's in your faith, you're Muslim, or even in yoga, it's like Ganesha, Shiva, same thing. It's all the same very, very high protector, destroyer vibration. Whatever you connect to is fine. However, I want to remind you that there are a lot of people working under these sacred beings, these ascended masters, and promising you something that will never come to fruition. So please be advised. I'm not like those false prophet, this people. Just look at what's happening in America and you will start to have your answers. I don't have to talk about anything, just look around. That's for you to decide. And that also brings me to the fact of like, oh, beauty is vanity, beauty's of the world. That's absolutely not true. The women in the Bible, Mary, Mother of God, Mary Magdalene, were absolutely gorgeous. Actually, during their time, they were some of the most beautiful women around. So don't let people tell you that because of your faith in something benevolent and good for earth, you're not as beautiful. Because that's something that happened to me in the beauty industry. Because I wasn't doing these demonic practices and I wasn't gossiping necessarily about other women, or I wasn't doing those sorts of things, I was humiliated, my beauty was berated, and my confidence was taken away from me, and my self-esteem was taken away from me. So I want to protect young women. If you're in those spaces, not necessarily that you need to walk away, because if you're strong enough, you can stay in that space, but you do need a lot of protection and boundaries. So that's what I was lacking. I was naive enough to think that just because women are successful and they have attained some type of leadership role, that they meant well for people. And a lot of them do not. So that's another thing to be aware of. As we rise up, don't be afraid to be angry, because rage is normal when you've been lied to. So what I'm picking up on collectively is a lot of lying, a lot of gaslighting, and a lot of manipulation. And these vibrations really cause people to go insane. Like, I'm not kidding. This is how you drive people insane. And you give people anxiety and you cause them to split identities, dissociative identity disorder, multiple personality disorder. Because you're being lied to. So a part of yourself is artificial. It's not you. And I've personally done this work where it's like, you have to piece everything together that was created for you. You have to cut all cords, let God purify your spirit, and create a new identity for yourself that is strong, that is rooted in what you believe, who you want to become, and how you see the world prospering. So that's what I've been feeling collectively, and I explained my personal journey, but I wanted to go in a little bit more about my personal journey with like ballet, mirrors, other women, shutting down, young women as teenagers shutting down. That's an important topic for me. Then becoming aggressive and rude as a defense mechanism. And basically, nobody is really healing these young women. We're forced to seek our own wisdom. We're forced to fend for ourselves because a lot of our parents are narcissists. And that's another thing. It's a clear-cut narcissistic personality disorder. So who's going to help these young women become successful, become beautiful, become intelligent, become empowered if everyone else around them is a narcissist? Of course they're going to hate themselves. Of course they're going to have depression. Of course they're going to have anxiety. Of course their vibration will be low. Of course they'll have addictions. So I feel that it's my job, and that's why I do this. I orchestrate, it's a lot of work to orchestrate all of this, to create this energy, to create this bubble of information. Basically, I feel that if girls just had a little bit more, silence. I think the word is silence. I think what I lacked as a teenager was silence. To just go and sit in my room in silence. Silence is so healing to teenagers because their psychic intuition is coming online. They're being bombarded with classes, with homework, with schedules, with conditioning, with all of this stuff, right? So then how are they supposed to ever process that information? So in the future, and if I ever do have kids, which I don't necessarily know at this time, my kids are going to sit in silence to process information, to create their own reality, to create their own perspective, to create their own ideas about the world. And I feel like for teenage girls, like they need that alone time. Alone time in silence is the most sacred healing thing that any human being can experience. So that's what I recommend. Like if you see a teenage girl who's struggling or suffering, giving unsolicited wisdom will not work. They're gonna literally like break your neck because teenage girls are very rude. Then basically sometimes love is also cringy. They're like, ew, get away from me. But if you can just sit in silence with a teenage girl, you're gonna heal her spirit. And that's what I do for people. Basically, like if there's like a young kid and I sense that there's a lot of like stress or anxiety or something's wrong, just sit with them in silence and let them feel your presence as somebody who can not necessarily be trusted, because a lot of traumatized people will never truly trust anybody, but they can just feel the presence of another human being. This is the most healing thing that we can experience as human beings, I truly believe. And I feel like I had people like that for me when I was a teenager, and when I was in college, it would be like people who would just show up and spend time with you. And those were like my best friends or my mentors or my teachers or whatever it was. So that's that component. But also I wanted to go into the eating disorder, body dysmorphia, insecurity, self-esteem component, which is all solar plexus and even sacral work for women. Basically, if you have a lot of trauma, including sexual trauma, any type of trauma, you're going to blame yourself, you're going to shut down, and you're going to take away your beauty because you feel that they do not deserve it. And that's actually the truth. They do not deserve it, but you deserve it. That's the difference. That's when that empowerment of 22, 23, 24 kicks in. It's like, yeah, okay, you didn't deserve my beauty, but I deserve my beauty to have a full experience on planet Earth. So if this is what you're doing to yourself, if you're not taking care of yourself necessarily, you're not on your routine, you're not on your schedule, you're not working out, your beauty is for you, Principle 1, your beauty is for you. Your beauty is for you. And if somebody took your beauty or took your sexuality from you for their own personal gain or their own personal power, give it to them. Close the boundary and ask God for more. That's how Christian people will continue to prosper on this planet. That's how spiritual people who are rooted in good will continue to prosper on this planet. They want to steal your power, give them the power. Give it to them. Don't hold on. Don't cling. It's going to give you mental health issues. Don't chase them. Close the door. Ask for more power. Cleaner power, higher vibration power. So those are some understandings that I haven't shared, but I've kept very close to my heart and have helped me to stay intact with my feminine energy and my inner child. So the next podcast, I want to talk more about inner child healing and processing our personalities that were God-given and robbed from us under the pretense that we're too much, that our joy is too much, that we can't act a certain way because we're too happy. And then the children become like this. They just do everything. And then in high school, it gets even worse. In college, lethal situations, near-death experiences. Like, I've been through all of that, believe me. And I don't necessarily regret it. And I know my lessons will only reach the people who are ready for them. And everybody's on their own journey, right? But I also feel that my podcast reaches people in the future. So the reason why I don't perform well right now on my accounts is because this is future seeds that are being planted. And one day you'll remember, oh, that girl that pulled up in a prairie dress, fully made up to record a podcast in her room. You're going to remember that girl. Because first of all, what is that girl doing? Like, what is that girl doing? Where did that idea come from? And you'll say, wow, I really remember what she said. And now I need to apply this practice to my life. And that's kind of how I want to be. And that's how I want to keep things. I don't want to be too in your face. Even though I am expanding, I am growing as an individual soul. But I do feel that, that judgment against my work, against my faith, against my beauty, against my sexuality, and against my power was probably the hardest thing I ever had to heal in my life, including the inner child. In fact, my inner child is the one who came up to fight for everything. How can you take everything away from me and expect me to work for you? How can you take everything away from me and expect me to marry you? That's the system we live in for women. That's why you see women nomadic, living with roommates, having a bike, teaching yoga, being in communal healing spaces, leaving their marriages, starting brands like this to create advocacy around women's spiritual rights. These are the things that I want to devote myself to, and I feel like a lot of women should devote themselves to this. Because I don't like seeing people trapped. I don't like seeing people suffer if they don't need to, because there's a whole world out there. There's a whole universe out there with opportunities, with abundance, with freedom, with friendship, with actual suitable partners who will respect your beauty and your sexuality. And to limit yourself to where you are in life, to who's programming you right now, it's doing yourself an injustice. And if you think, oh, I'll never find another job, I'll never find this, that's their programming. See, that's where the trap is. Because Jesus will make sure, and source consciousness will make sure that you find another job, that you find another partner, that you have another idea for your business. Your business fails, Jesus will give you a new business. And that's the kind of faith that I found through difficult times. And it's not faith through a church. It's not faith through a healer. It's not faith through anything but the direct energy of Jesus Christ and the direct energy of the universe and nature. The tree of life is something that I've been really connecting to, because I went on a trip and I ended up in front of this massive tree. Like, I've never seen a more beautiful tree in my life. And I just felt the energy of this tree, just like massive, 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 massive healing. And many women can connect to this same energy. To go to these trees, to go sit with the tree, to go talk to the tree, to feel the healing of the tree. This is not hidden wisdom. This is sacred wisdom that is universal, that is publicly acceptable. You don't need to be a certified healer to go sit by a tree. You don't need a certification to try a plant medicine or to try an alternative therapy. Like, you don't need to be a professional healer to try this stuff as an individual. So that's like another seal that I'm breaking in my own consciousness. Like, I always tried everything by myself. I didn't need to be a healer yet necessarily by public standards. So if whatever wisdom is here, in my mind it makes sense. I don't know if any of this makes sense. In my mind, everything's very connected, and my soul, I trust that my soul knows what it's doing. That's all I'm going to say, because sometimes I have no idea what I'm doing. So connecting to that trust of your soul, even though your mind is like, this is the stupidest, weirdest thing I've ever done, you're going to fall into magical experiences, into wild things beyond your belief. And these are things that previously you were told, oh, that's the devil. That's too expanded. It must be the devil. No, because the devil wants you to stay here. The second you start to expand, they're going to start saying, that's the devil. That's the demons. That's the devil. That's the demons. Okay, great. So then I beat them. If that's the devil and the demons and I'm here. I have had to have beat them then. So don't be afraid to push through this like wall, this boundary, and to have spiritual experiences. But always pray over it. Always pray over it and connect your feet to nature. And you will never, ever, ever, ever be misguided. In fact, every single healer is instructed to do the same thing. So that's kind of what I wanted to share. But thank you so much for tuning into my podcast. And if you like it, of course, comment or share or whatever. But also, it's fine. I'm going to post it anyways.